I went ahead and I bought a plan made by a runner who knows what they're doing. Hello and welcome back to my channel. So last week I beat my 10k PB at a race and I also achieved my goal of running a sub 45-minute 10k, and I was training with that in mind using a running plan which I bought off Ben Park's website. I got a few questions on Instagram about the plan, how it works, so I thought I would just film my honest review, share my experience, the pros and cons, and I thought it might be helpful to some of you if you're thinking about maybe buying a plan off his website. So let's get into it. Actually, before we start, let me say that Ben Parks doesn't know me, he doesn't know that I bought a plan off his website, he doesn't know that I'm going to do this review. This is absolutely unsponsored, just me deciding to film this review. Also, the plans he sells on his website are his own intellectual property. He is a running coach, he makes a living off these plans. So I'm not going to show you the exact PDF and everything which is on his website because it would be wrong for me to do that. My aim is just to give you an overview and details on what to expect so that you can decide whether or not buying a running plan like this can be helpful in your own fitness journey. So yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, so if you go on Ben Park's website, there are loads of training plans you can buy, from 5k all the way to the marathon. For each distance, you have different levels of plans which are based on the time you're hoping to achieve if you do a race. So with my goal being to do a sub 45-minute 10k, I bought the 10k plan intermediate level 3, which is if you want to do a 10k between 40 and 50 minutes. So I was like bang in the middle, so that was the plan for me. Alright, so let's start with a good old plan overview. So first of all, this is not online running coaching, which I bet Ben Parks does, which is obviously much more personalized, hands-on. You've got like weekly feedback check-in with your coach. This is not that. This is also not a personalized plan which would be written only for you. This is literally a plan that you pick on the website, you pay for it, and then you receive a link to download your PDF, and then it's up to you to follow the plan. But it's exactly what I wanted. So this is what I got. So how long is the plan? It is different based on the distance, but for the 10k plans, I believe all of them are 10 weeks long. How much does it cost? Every single plan costs only £6, which is quite cheap. Okay, it's a downloadable PDF, it's not personalized, but still, it is a very small investment. It is affordable for pretty much everyone, which is quite good. Another question I got was how many runs a week. So most of the weeks it's 5 runs. Some weeks are a bit easier and you only have 4 runs. The last week is super easy because it's your taper before you race. You've got a good mix of different runs. Obviously a good chunk of it is just easy runs. You've got one interval session a week, which changes every week. You've got a long run on the weekend. Just so you know, for the 10k plan, the longest run was over 20k, alright? You also have some tempo thrown in there, and it changes every week, so it is absolutely not like the same every week. It's quite varied, so it keeps it interesting and challenging. So based on your goal, because obviously for me this plan was going from 10k in 40 minutes to 10k in 50 minutes, which is quite a big difference in your goal pace. So at the beginning of the PDF you basically have a table which is also in k and in miles. Same with your training plan per week, you've got it in k and in miles. So yeah, you have a table based on your goal time. It gives you your pace for your easy runs, your tempo, your intervals, all of that. So you know basically what you should be aiming for in your training. Let's talk about the positives and what I especially liked about following this plan. But first, quick disclaimer, I did not follow this plan to a T across the whole 10 weeks. I would say I followed probably like 80% of it really, and then the rest was a bit more intuitive. I changed up some paces. Towards the end, I was challenging myself so much more with the interval session, so I was going faster than my prescribed pace. And then I also changed up some interval session, but I would say I followed a good 80% of it, and I found it incredibly helpful. So I would consider myself still a beginner runner. I only started to really take running seriously recently, so I don't think I have a whole lot of experience when it comes to like training, prepping for a race, improving my pace, like, you know, any of that. So I found this super helpful to have a structure to follow, to just have an idea of the weekly volume I should be aiming for. I finished yesterday week 3 on Ben Park's plan, and for the first time I went above 50k running a week. I ran exactly 52.8k last week, which is crazy when a few weeks ago I wouldn't even have thought of doing more than 35k a week. Different session ideas, especially for intervals, because before I was only doing the same thing, so it gave me like loads of ideas. I knew I was on track with my training, and I was basically giving myself the best shot at achieving my goal. I think this plan really helped with accountability as well, even if it wasn't like a coaching situation where I would like have check-ins with my coach. I just wanted to get all the runs ticked off, and I was tracking my progress, so I was really consistent. And I think across all these weeks I probably missed only 2 runs. Yeah, I was really consistent, probably more than if I was doing my own thing, because I had like an external plan to follow. And the most important, this plan has made me progress so much. It's actually quite incredible, the progress I made in 10 weeks. It's not even just having achieved my 10k goal and having hit a new PB. It's also that before this plan, the longest I had run was 10k, and with this plan I run like longer distances. Bloody hell. It's the longest run I've ever done. I had long runs every weekend or so. 18k, my longest run so far. So it really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and even with the intervals I never challenged myself so much than with this plan. So I think it helped me progress so much, and it definitely played a big part in me achieving that sub 45-minute 10k that I was chasing. Also, let me remind you of the price, £6. The return I got on this investment, it is quite something in terms of performance and even like confidence in myself. So yeah, I mean, in short, do I recommend it? Yes, absolutely. What have you got to lose for £6? So, are there any negatives? It's really tiny, and it's only my own experience and my own opinion. This might not be a problem for you. So one of them was that, as I mentioned, I had not done long runs before, and the longest run on this plan was 23k, which I did not do because I don't think it was at my level yet. The longest run I did on this plan was 19k, something like that. So yeah, I cut the longest runs a little bit short because for me it was already more than enough. But if you're already used to running, you know, like 15, 16k, then you should be alright to really follow all the long runs to a T. Another thing, and I don't know how to say this without coming across the wrong way, but basically sometimes I found it stressful and frustrating to try and stick to the easy pace range that was prescribed for my goal time. My easy pace prescribed was between 5:30 minutes per K and 6:30 minutes per K. It was just too slow, especially for a run that was 6, 7 or 8k. Like, I know what my easy pace is, and it's faster than what was prescribed. For a longer run, yes, I would run a bit slower because I would need to sustain for longer. So I decided that for my easy runs, I would just run with how I feel. So sometimes my easy pace is a 4:50, sometimes it's a 5, sometimes it's a 5:10. Yeah, I decided that as long as it feels easy, I'm relaxed, I would be able to talk whilst running, then I would be fine and I would just run with how I felt. So I think it's mainly suitable for people who are already in a good fitness routine, who have some discipline when it comes to just getting it done, because you download the plan and then that is it. Ben Parks is not on your back kind of like coaching you to do it. I was not a big runner before, but I've been training at the gym for years and I'm quite self-disciplined. So this is why I went with the plan, because it would be just perfect for me. Just give me the plan and then I will get on with it. Now, specifically for the 10K plan I bought between 40 and 50 minutes, it's not for complete beginners. This one in particular, I think it was suited to my level. So having done a fair bit of running before, but not taking it super seriously, maybe doing 2-3 runs a week. So yeah, if you're already self-motivated, if you don't think you need a coach to report back to, then a plan like this is just ideal. It's going to give you a little bit more self-accountability because you'll want to get all those runs done. And yeah, I absolutely recommend it, whether you have decided to maybe focus on running, whether you have signed up to race, you have a running goal in mind, you want to beat a PB. And it's also made me want to carry on running, progressing, improving. And then come on, 6 pounds. What have you got to lose? You may as well give it a go. I think I covered pretty much everything, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or send me a DM on Instagram and I will make sure to reply to it. That's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!